Hello, the Pioneer viewers. How are you doing? I hope you're healthy and well. As the Pioneer team, we are here with a new part of our map report. In a moment, we will evaluate the latest developments on the front line. According to the latest reports, there is a situation in the Robotin sector of the Zaporizhia front line that we can say it is a bit troubling. We have been saying this for some time, but this situation is largely under control, at least for the moment. The Verbove direction is a problem. On the Donetsk front line, we think that the Avdiivka battles have come to an end. The Ukrainian army has designed the defensive war here to wear down the Russian army. In terms of the operational objectives, we also see that the Ukrainian armed forces have been successful in this regard. So what is the latest situation on the front line? Let's take a look together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to bring you developments regarding Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. You can also support me and my hardworking team by using the super thanks button below the videos. Thank you for your support. Let's start, if you're ready, the Pioneer reports. Let's start our report by analyzing the latest developments on the Kherson front line. According to the latest reports, in the Kherson direction, the Russian armed forces attacked Ukrainian positions in Krinky after shelling. However, Ukrainian troops continue to hold their positions there, and the Russian attacks have been successfully repelled so far. There is a lot of room for interpretation here. Let's put it this way. Some sources say that neither army has any desire to advance. This is partly true. At least Ukrainian troops have no such goal at the moment, and the Ukrainian army is trying to inflict maximum damage on the Russian troops here. The same sources claim that the Russian troops have no such a goal here either, but this claim is completely false, because if the Russian army wants to keep the road to Crimea blocked, it should build its defenses further ahead. Failure of the Russian army to advance here would radically change and affect the Russia's and army's battle plan. Therefore, the claim about the lack of advanced objectives for the Russian troops here are not quite true. Now let's continue with the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, artillery units of the Russian armed forces hit units of the Ukrainian armed forces stations in Dnipropetrovsk, Kherson, Nreathe, Tokarevka, Avdiivka, and Lviv. In contrast, artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces worked under Russian forces in Ola, Priston, Oleshki, Cossack camps, and Korsunka. Okay, now let's continue with the Robotyne sector of the Zaporizhia front line. According to the latest reports, there is an ongoing Russian military pressure west and southeast of the town of Robotin. This pressure is still not strong enough to force the Ukrainian army out of its positions. For the moment, and for the most part, the Ukrainians continue to hold their positions. Russian artillery activity here has intensified considerably. Nevertheless, the Ukrainian army's defense line is still there, and the Ukrainians have built a really good defense fortifications. The town still hasn't fallen during the Russian counterattacks, and that have been going on for nearly 3 months. Let's also mention the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, artillery units of the Russian armed forces targeted Ukrainian positions, stations in Kremenskoye, Malaya Tokmakcha, Chernovny, and Krasny. In turn, artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces targeted units of the Russian armed forces stations in Kopany, Novoprokopivka, and Verbove. And also, I would like to share an interesting anecdote about this war. The Russia-Ukraine war was a real game changer. Many military rules and theories were thrown out of the window with this war. Normally, the offensive advantage is a great advantage, but the Russia-Ukraine war is quite different. In this war, the attacking side always loses more power, and the defending side always has the advantage. Okay, now let's continue with the latest developments in the Volskaya sector of the Zaporizhia front line. According to the latest reports, there was an attempted attack by the Russian troops north of Priyodny in the Volskaya area. Here we can see that the Russian artillery is heavily supporting the attack. However, despite this, the Russian army failed to make any progress. The Russian offensive here is no longer targeting Stromayorsk and Yorkhain. Russian troops seem determined to change their strategy here. We expect that the Russian army will be trying to recover in these areas for a long time. Therefore, we don't foresee a border change in the short term. Now let's look at the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, artillery units of the Russian armed forces targeted Ukrainian positions in Poltavka and Vuhledar. In turn, artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces targeted Russian positions in Zaporizhia and Donetsk. Let me continue with the latest developments on the Donetsk front line. According to the latest reports, on the Donetsk front line, units of the Russian armed forces attacked Avdiivka and Nreathe from the southeast and northeast, but they didn't succeed. They seem to have advanced along the M30 highway near the Volskaya, but so far there is no footage to confirm this advance. According to reports, Russian troops are trying to hold on here, and the Ukrainian army's counter-fire is furious. There are also Russian attacks in Donetsk and Severnoye, but for the moment there is no sign of breach in the Ukrainian army's defense line, and the defense line fortifications remain strong. On the southeastern outskirts of the city of Avdiivka, there are furious counterattacks. Here too, Russian troops are trying to advance by holding around the highway. At some points there is some Russian advance, albeit a very low level. However, this does not represent a major tactical change at the moment. On the northeastern outskirts of the city of Avdiivka, there is a tactical breakthrough by the Russian armed forces. In this area, Russian troops can now attack the coke factory from the two directions. Therefore, the Ukrainian army needs to build its defense line on the double front. Near Stepnoe, attempts to advance did not bring success to the Russian armed forces. The Ukrainian army's defense line here is also very strong. Still, Russian troops are not succeeding despite all attempts. In addition, the Ukrainian armed forces managed to recapture a number of positions near Novobakhmutovka under their control. Here we can expect more tactical success of the Ukrainian army. Let's continue with the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, artillery units of the Russian armed forces targeted Avdiivka, Pobeda, Novomikhailivka and Konstantinivka. In contrast, artillery units of the Ukrainian armed forces hit Solodki, Stepny and Salilivki. Let's take a brief look at the Bakhmut front line as well. It is remarkably calm here. Russian troops have almost completely stopped their offensives, and in particular, the Klishchivka and Nreathe areas were very calm today. There are no offensive attempts, and there is only some activities around Kasavyar. However, this activity does not have any significance for the future of the front line. So now tell me, what do you think? How do you think the Avdiivka battle will shape up? Do you think the Russian army will advance further? And how do you assess the operational objectives of the Ukrainian army? Let me know in the comments, because I read and I care about all your comments.